today, literally you missed last class. We started on the topic on mental health investment. We started mental health investment as a theme, and then in there I wanted to do different themes under the mental health investment. But I was saying the main reason as to why I started us on this theme, it was for me to capture the concept of sleep for us, because this very month we learned about burnout, we learned about mental fatigue. Coach Barbara taught us about stress. Have we learned resilience? You let me know in the group whether we've learned
Not
resilience.
yet.
We did, eh?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, not yet. Yes.
Not
And
yet.
self-esteem, we haven't.
No, we're missing out on so many things. And yet, in June, we are starting another topic, which is about, I think, career or something. I need to check our timetable. Coach Sarah, you'll help us repost our timetable. But I really needed us to capture this concept of sleep, because the most of us, the mental fatigue, the stress, the burnout, there's so many things that we call it what, pent up anger, the irritability. Most of these things, they don't come because we don't have money, not because we are, I mean, bad people. No, it's because we don't get enough sleep. I've given you an example myself right now. I have a backlog of sleep that I need to sleep. So I feel like after here, I'm going to run like this. But okay, let's get started. So last Saturday, I gave us the different emotional, mental health investments that we can do. I talked about rest and reflection, emotional, the spiritual, and so on and so forth. So today, I want to talk about sleep as a mental health investment. Today, I'm going to request you to take a bit of notes, because I believe some of us are, I don't know whether most of us are, all of us are single, but I believe we are staying with people. You have either a relative, or some of us are married, we have children, some of us we have husbands. Take some notes such that you can go back and train your people in the house and tell them, this is how we're going to be doing sleep in this house. Jerry, you're single. Don't worry, God is going to see you through. Okay, so whether you're single, still you can teach other people. You can teach your colleagues, you can teach your friends that sleep is a very important factor. So I want us to understand why it's important. So today we're handling sleep and the bedroom, the bed and the bedroom. Sleep, the bed and the bedroom as a mental health investment. This year, 2026, we're going to do things very different. So the Bible tells us in the scriptures of Psalms 4:8, and it says that in peace I lie down and sleep, for you alone, that Lord, you make me dwell in safety. In peace I lie down and sleep. God expects us to lie down. The psalmist was saying, like, in peace, I lie down and sleep. God expects us to sleep in peace. But ask yourself right now, have you been sleeping in peace? Some of us, we sleep and we end up with nightmares, night terrors, like we are getting all these bad dreams, people chasing us, people doing all these sorts of things, like you in sleep, but still you are having the bad conversations you had throughout the day. You are not lying in peace, you're not sleeping in peace. And there is a scripture, Coach Barbara is going to help me look out for it. It's either in Exodus or still in the in Psalms, that says that Mukama abo bayagala abawotulo. God gives sleep to those that he loves. There is also another scripture that says, it's still either in Exodus or still in the book of Psalms, that says that there is no rest for the wicked. So us that have not been resting, Coach Sarah, Ngonzi, Sise, Rona, Majid, let's ask ourselves, are we wicked? Why are we not resting? I think it's in the book
Maybe.
of Exodus. The Bible is telling us there is no rest for the wicked. Yeah, Ketra is putting
Maybe
us
it's
the
because I
scriptures there.
want Arsenal to lose.
Eh?
Maybe it's because I want Arsenal to lose. That's why I don't get sleep.
Oh God. Are you wicked? Why do you want Arsenal to lose? So there are so many scriptures that really talk about sleep. For God, those that He loves, He gives them sleep. So if you've not been getting sleep, if you've not been sleeping, go before God and tell Him, I know you love me. The Bible says, for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. He loved us. So He loves us. Ask Him for sleep. But today, let's understand more about sleep, the bed, and the bedroom. I pray that time allows, because like I said, I'm a bit sleepy. But I pray that time allows. So, the truth is that sleep is a bit more spiritual. Like I've given you a bit of scriptures. There's so many other scriptures, but sometimes we ignore it. Sometimes we misunderstand it, and also sometimes we want to over spiritualize it. Yeah. But sleep is a mental health investment. Many people think that sleep is just rest for the body, but sleep is not just for it's not rest for the body. When people talk about rest, they mean sleep. Like, let me go and rest. They mean like, let me go and sleep. They mean it's sleep. But sleep is healing for the mind, it is restoration for the emotions, and it is renewal for your spirit. So you cannot in any way grow mentally while you are chronically exhausted, while you keep being like back and forth, exhausted, back and forth. It's hard, it becomes hard for you to grow mentally. And yet we are on a journey of wellness. We want to grow mentally. We need to do better. But you cannot grow mentally while you are chronically exhausted. You cannot heal emotionally while you are persistently sleep deprived. Like you struggle with sleep, you don't sleep enough. Yeah, it makes your life really hard, and you cannot also make wise decisions with a tired mind. I tried to explain a bit of that last Saturday. So we should understand that sleep is not a waste of time. It is part of God's design for our mental wellness. It is not a waste of time. Some of us, when we were growing up, batwe basanga lwampaka, like it was a must. After you've eaten lunch, you've had lunch, like you go and sleep whether you like it or not. And for me, I literally hated my home back then because of that practice of you have to sleep every after you've had lunch. It was a must, and I didn't understand why it was that a must that we need to rest. But now, after I've this aged, grown up, and becoming old, now I understand why it's important for us to sleep. Because from creation, God built rest into life. Even after the 6 days of creation, the Bible tells us that God rested not because He was tired, but to establish a rhythm of balance for humanity. It doesn't show us that now, after God created, He was so tired and He had to what? To sleep. No, it wasn't because that God was tired, but He wanted to establish for us a rhythm for humanity. So we should understand that sleep is a divine system. Sleep is a divine system for mental rest, one, for emotional regulation, for cognitive restoration. When I say cognitive restoration, I mean cognitive is ngenda biza mu Luganda. Cognitive tulina ze tuyita cognitive functions mu mental health oba mu psychology. Mu ezo mulimu memory, mulimu attention, mulimu intelligence, mulimu concentration, mulimu memory as a cognitive function, mulimu thinking, all those are cognitive functions. So bw'oba tofunye tulo tumala, sorry about my network. If you've not gotten enough sleep, your thinking as a cognitive function is affected, your memory as a cognitive function is affected, your intelligence gets affected, like so many things become affected. But when you sleep well, your brain processes emotions thoroughly well, it organizes the memories thoroughly well, and it restores your focus in one way or the other. But when you neglect sleep, the mind becomes overloaded and a bit reactive and very unstable. So there are some of us that have gotten into fights with people simply because they are overloaded, simply because their brains are not stable at that time. Someone has worked shifts. Now if you come into this side of us, the medical workers, someone works from one duty to the other. This night has been in this hospital, daytime the other hospital, in the night they're working in another hospital, another duty. That person is prone to be very unstable. Yeah, because they have not slept, they have not rested. So I want to ask us, have you noticed how everything feels heavier when you are tired? Like Mishimo Ulira Chizitowa, even making a simple decision, you feel like it's a lot of work. Even the small problems of Bakugambi Tetwina Munyuwaka, it's an issue. We don't have sugar, it's an issue. Maybe your child is telling you, Mama, mbadde nkujukiza sente za trip. It can also be an issue. The small problems feel big when we've not rested, when we've not slept. So even the simple conversations feel irritating. What is another boss? Well, you just try to have a conversation, nenga ali irritated. Toina na omukoze, yeah. Even emotions become unpredictable. If you've not had enough sleep in a long time, your emotions become unpredictable all the time. So, because of the lack of sleep, it weakens our emotional regulation. Last time we talked about emotional intelligence, and we've kept talking about emotional intelligence over and over again. But if you don't sleep enough, you find it hard to regulate your emotions, because a rested mind can always pause. As leaders, or as each one of us is a leader in a different spaces. As leaders, we are taught to always pause before we even, make a decision, communicate. You need to pause, like pause. But that can come from a mind that is rested, because if you have not rested, instead of pausing a bit, you end up just reacting. You become just reactive. So a tired mind sometimes reacts before thinking. You've not taken off a minute, a second to think about something, you just react. And before you know it, ebintu obyonoonye. The Bible tells us in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3. Sorry, yeah, Proverbs chapter 3, verse 22 there. And it tells us that when you lie down, like when you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. That is in the Bible. When you lie down, your sleep is going to be sweet. Still ask yourself, when is the last time you had a sweet, 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 sweet sleep? So sleep brings about, I call it this emotional safety. You feel like you're emotionally safe. Ne bw'oba toyina ssente, there is that peace. I mean, sometimes okay, it's not easy, but it brings about the emotional safety and the calmness to the mind. So sleep is a form of mental cleansing. You see these things that we say, you journal, take a walk, do this and this and this. Sometimes you need to try sleep. I know of people that have sleep as their hobby. They can give us testimonies here. Sleep is a form of mental cleansing. Modern science confirms what wisdom has always known during sleep. The modern science, the science confirms what wisdom has always known. We've known this, but we've just not practiced it. That during sleep, the brain clears all the waste. That's why sometimes you wake up in the morning and your mind is fresh. Ennaku y'eggulo tokyagijjukira nnyo abakunyiiziza, like it's literally you moved on, but you moved on overnight. Like because you slept off things. Some people will tell you, for me, if I sleep omutunganyiziza, I wake up when I'm done with, I've closed that chapter. So during sleep, our brains They clear off every waste, and they help us to process experiences. And they also help us to strengthen our learning, because during that day obeera olina ebintu by'oyiseemu. During that day you go through things, ebimu obipayinzeko attention, ebirala you've not paid attention, and you are thinking in your head. You don't comprehend well, like you don't comprehend those things well. But sometimes when we go to sleep, obwongo bwaffe bugezaako lumu tukomerezaawo most of the experiences we've gone through. And sometimes it's in those minutes when you are sleeping that you put your mind onto things. Oh, Donna said this, Donna said ABCD. Peace did this and this and this. That is when you are in that moment. So it strengthens the knowledge, it strengthens our learning. Sleep does that for us. And also, spiritual and mentally, sleep helps us to release of things, spiritually, mentally. Sleep helps you to release of things. So when you are deprived of sleep, that is a mental health risk. This goes to the parents, this goes to every one of us. When we are deprived of sleep, I'm not refuting the fact that we have to work. I'm not refuting the fact that we have to wake up early. We need to be responsible people. We need to be responsible citizens. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be just enjoy your sleep and all that, but we have what we call. I'm not going to go into details of it, but there is what we call our sleep cycle. A normal human being is expected to have a complete, at least, like, okay, the cycle has 9 hours, and every cycle is comprised of 3 hours. Omuntu tumubalira essaawa 9 ez'okwebaka mu kiro, and now I'm speaking of the night, not day. People who sleep during day. In the night, we expect you to have sleep of 9 hours. That is a complete cycle. But we are saying, bwe biba biganye nga biganye, at least complete the 2 cycles. Those are 6 hours. 6 hours. Naye era bwe biba biganye nga bigaanidde ddala, you can't sleep the 6 hours. Then sleep the 3 hours, but let them be complete. Let those 3 hours be complete hours. Sleep them completely. Sigamba nti nebasayo essaawa emu then I've woke up. The brain doesn't know that. The brain doesn't know the 1 hour. Our brains, they do not know the 2 hours. Our brains register the 3 hours, they register the 6 hours, they register the 9 hours. Kati bw'osalawo okwebaka, you need to train your brain that I have to sleep for a complete cycle. Each cycle has 3 hours. Sleep the 3 hours, bw'oba okyayagala okwebaka, sleep another 3 hours and complete the 6 hours. If you still want to sleep, now you sleep to the 9 hours. But some of us, we just 30 minutes ng'ozukuse 1.5 hours, and then during day omutwe guba nga gukuluma buli ssaawa. Me, I see patients back and forth in the hospital. My head, my head, my head, my head, my head, my head. But then you ask them, when is the last time you properly slept? How many hours did you sleep in the night? And also, some of us complete the cycle. You complete your 9 hours. Bulungi. But you realize that in those 9 hours, warwanyeemu entalo, wasuze ologootana, wasuze oyogera, abasula boogera, wasuze oyogera, wasuze otambula. Some of us have this sleep disorder gye tuyita the sleepwalking. We have, yeah, that sleepwalking. Abantu ababeera ennyo mu kisulo, people that have been into boarding sections, you know about it. Abaana abamu muba mwebase nga ye ali mu ddoomu atambula. That's sleepwalking. It's a sleep disorder. The snubbelism, abamu twebaka naye ng'eno twogera ne weebaka ne ng'onyumya emboozi. Even people can go ahead and trick you ne bakuteeka, edda twabikolanga ng'omuntu omuteekayo akasubi. Oddira akajiiko n'oleeta obwo bumukonzikonzi akasubi, and then you hit the kajiiko, and then they continue talking and talking and talking. So then you wake up and you think you've been sleeping. So, anyway, if you don't sleep, it's a mental health risk. And of course, the chronic lack of sleep is linked to anxiety. Like I said, I usually say that we're having increasing numbers of statistics, yeah, for mental health issues. And some of them, sleep is a very big contributor. I mentioned that last Saturday. It's a very big contributor because sleep contributes to the anxiety cases that we have in the world or in the country globally. Depression, sleep is a contributor for all the depressive, most of the depressive cases that we have globally. Um, Suicide, sleep is a big contributor to all the suicide cases, to most of the suicide cases that we have in the country, and so many and so many and so many. So sleep brings about, if you don't sleep well, it brings about irritability. It brings, I've talked about the poor concentration. It brings about decision fatigue. You reach a time even making that decision, it's hard. It brings about emotional instability. So some battles people think are spiritual attacks, but some battles, to the pastors here and other religious leaders, some battles are sleep deprived. They come from us depriving ourselves from sleep because our minds are struggling to function. You cannot ignore a rest and you expect emotional stability. You cannot. Mm-mm. And we're going to see why. So I want to remind us that I know we have CEOs here. We want people to wake up as early as 4 and be at work at 4, at 5 p.m., sorry, 5 a.m. But please, workplace mental health is important. Workplace mental health is important. So sleep is not laziness. Sleep or rest is not laziness. It is stewardship. There is a difference between being lazy and restoration. Laziness, it is someone avoiding responsibility. Someone is avoiding responsibility. But for rest, someone is trying to restore their strength for the responsibilities that are ahead of them. So if someone chooses to rest, it's not that they are irresponsible, it's not that they are lazy, but they are trying to restore strength for the responsibilities ahead of them. So that's why I like saying that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You can't. It doesn't work. You can't. Because even Jesus himself, the Son of Man, the God himself on earth, he rested. He slept in the boat while we saw the disciples crying, Amayengo, Umuyaga, this and this and this. It's in the book of Mark. But he rested in the boat ne yeebaka ne bamala muzuukusa mukama waffe totulaba nga tugenda kufa tuggweewo. But he had to rest because that is not a weakness. That is emotional and mental balance. Bw'aba Yesu Mukama Katonda gwe tukkiririzaamu naye yagamba kanneebakeko ne yeebaka in deep sleep. Ne bamugamba nti in deep sleep. He wanted emotional and mental balance. Naye muntu alina bye yayitamu. And he said is like, I also need my life ng'ekiseera kyange ekyokufa tekinnatuuka, because he knew there was time for dying, but he's like, why would I die before even the time comes? I better rest. And no one can sleep your sleep for you. You need to sleep your sleep for you. So if Jesus himself had to value rest, then we must also value it. Ask yourself, why don't you value rest? Why don't you value sleep? Like, why? Me, I value my sleep. Ensonga ky'essimu zange mba neebase ziba mu silence. So, sleep, if you sleep, it is also an act of you honoring God, because God really honors sleep. God honors us resting. So when you sleep, you are literally honoring God in one way or the other. Sleep is an act of honoring and trusting in God. In the book of Psalms, chapter 4, the Bible says that in peace I'll lie down and sleep. Ketra has put for us those scriptures there. You can always check them out. Because sleep is a declaration that I'm not in control. Like you are not, and you are not, and you will never be in control. So when you sleep, it is you being like, Dear Lord, ebisigadde ggwe amanyi. I like people who give this statement. Mbu ebisigadde bya Ali to Monday. There is a way they say that statement. Yeah. Ebisigadde when they are leaving their offices on Friday, and then they're like, "Oh, ebisigadde bya Ali on Monday," something like that. Literally, they are like, "We are done here. Nothing more I can do here." Ebisigadde tujja biraba ku Monday. So when you sleep in your head, you like, "Kati Mukama gwe amanyi." Y'ensonga lwaki Bayibuli etugamba nti Mukama w'atakuuma kibuga n'omukuumi aba akuumira bwereere. When you rest, when you sleep, sleeping is you declaring and saying that God, I know you are watching over me. Sigenda kusula nga nkutte luggi lwange in the name of nkuuma ndukuuma. God, I know you are watching over me. Sleeping is a declaration of you saying that my life does not depend on my constant activity. It doesn't. Because when you fall sick and be in the hospital, life goes on. Abalamu basigala balya bakola ki. Like life moves on. For you, your chapter is like it's on pause, and for other people's lives are like moving on. So sleeping is you declaring and telling God that my life does not depend on my constant activity. Constant activity. God never created us for constant activity. Yensonga lwaki tulabye mu Genesis naye yawummula. On the seventh day, he did what? He rested. So many of us struggle with sleep because we are mentally carrying burdens that God never asked us to carry. Now I'm starting to preach to us. We are carrying burdens that God never really asked us to carry. Yeah. Right now we're having Ebola in the country. Just imagine Sarah oba jje lyokka era enkya n'agamba nze sigenda kwebaka ngenda kwetika mugugu gw'Ebola gwe tulina mu ggwanga. Ogusobola? Togusobola. Sigenda kwebaka, nina ebizibu bya famire, nkyetisa ebizibu bya famire. Obisobola, famire gye wasangawo gy'ojja n'okulekawo. You can't. That's why the Bible tells us that everything to God in prayer. Beware, Mugambe. This is it. So, we are mentally very tired. We are struggling because we are carrying things, burdens mentally. We are carrying them, and yet God never asked us to carry them. But true rest comes when we totally surrender our control to God. Yensonga ki we weebaka olumu oviirako ddala like you switch off completely and also noba nga tomanyi kigenda maaso ku nsi. And God remains in control, really. So you are not only called to work hard as the hard workers, you are not only Winnie the hard worker, Sissy the hard worker, Ketra, Becky, Fraha, Ngonzi, Jelly, Coach Barbara, everyone, Esther. We are not only called to do the hard work, to be hard workers, yeah? But we are also called to rest well. To rest well, work, but also rest well. Work, but rest well. Some of us we are thinking bwenneebaka obudde bungenzeeko, of course tuli mu kugoba ebintu bingi, tugoba ensi, obudde nabwo twagala obukoba naye butugendako. Like you wake up and you realize that next month it's June, you look at the things you are supposed to do, you feel like you've not even done 20% of it, and it becomes chaotic on your end. But sleep is not time lost. If it's planned well, it's not time lost. You need mental repair, and that sleep is mental repair. It is emotional healing, it is cognitive strengthening and spiritual surrender. I've talked about the cognitive functions. It is cognitive strengthening, you strengthening your memory, you strengthening your thinking. To us who used to do preps, and even to those that are still in school, nga mukola preps musoma, tewatukanga ekiseera ng'ebigezo byanca olinayo papers, very hard papers. I remember there is a time I was supposed to do, in my S6, I was supposed to do my physics paper, or even the following day it was chemistry. And you know, chemistry had so many papers. Physics, that chemistry had a bit more papers. And in my head, my discussants were like, we need to read and read and read and read up to this time. So in my head, I'm like, up to what time? I need to sleep and process what I will have to write in the exams that following day. Like, we can't read till morning and just wash our faces and then go into the papers. We needed to rest. And I remember we were like, yeah, to fast, let's just God rest. We shall, wake up early in the morning and continue from there. So when you sleep, you are strengthening your memory. N'ebintu by'oba osomye to the students. Oba Mukama akuyambako kubanga obijjukira okubanga binywerayo mu bwongo. So I want each one of us that is listening to me now to value rest, to value it, to honor your body and your mind with sleep, to honor your body and your mind with sleep. And also to release whatever anxiety that we have under control. Some of us have so much control. We want to control everything, but you cannot. We need to allow God to restore us as we rest. Mukama mugambe, Mukama nze ngenze kwebaka ebisigadde mbikuwadde. You say in your word, you give sleep to those that you love. I'm going to sleep. And God will give you a peaceful sleep. Yeah? Questions, we can put them into the comment section. I'll be able to review them, or you can ask. So I said that we are going to look at sleep, the bed, and the bedroom. But our time is running fast. I'm just going to go through I'm just going to talk about the bedroom. I think the bedroom will summarize the bed for us, and then we can close off this session. So when I say that the bedroom is a mental health investment, I want each one of you that is here with us to picture your bedroom right now. Some of us, sawa ziri meka, sawa ziri mwenda, sorry, mwenda, sawa ziri ssatu. Abamu tuli mu having eno class mu buliri. Not so? In our beds, in our bedrooms. So Sarah, each one of us, take a look at your bedroom. Tambuza amaaso go in every corner. Have we done that? Bw'oba nga wooli si woosula nga just osuzeeyo leero lwokka. Picture your bedroom back at home. Okay, Barbara is outside the house. Picture your house. Picture your bedroom still. You can picture it still. Picture it. While you're on the veranda, picture it. The Bible tells us in the book of Proverbs that by wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. There is a difference between a house and a home. Those two things are very, very different. You can have a house, but you don't have a home in that house. Are we there? You can have a house, but you don't have a home in that house. Your bedroom is not just a place where you sleep, but your bedroom is a mental environment. Mental health has so many environments. Us as environments, the people, like the surroundings, like so many environments, and your bedroom is one of the environments for mental health. So many people go ahead to treat the bedroom as a storage space. It's saying, It's saying store. Store is the okay here. The other one is aka store. This is it's saying. So some of us it's saying we've made it a storage. We've made it a store. We've made it a storage place. We've made it a stress zone. You see this chronic stress that we keep having, and you know if you keep getting exposed to stress over and over and over, it becomes traumatizing. So we've made our bedrooms like a stress zone, or even in our workspace. Like some of us have made our bedrooms like workspaces. Laptop ziri eyo, ebitabo, file, report, everything. But in reality, your bedroom is meant to be a sanctuary. Your bedroom is supposed to be that place, like these people that have homes where they have how do they call that? Aba obusango obwo obw'okweyawula, eh? I'm forgetting the name. Obwo obusengo obw'okweyawula nga agendayo ne kamukaaminga nga oli yadesigninga karuumu ke mu nju kakweyawula. So our bedrooms are meant to be a sanctuary for restoration. Nti bw'oba gy'ovudde yonna nga bikutabuseeko, oyina eyo gy'oyingira mu nnyumba yo n'owulira nga you restored, n'owulira nga ensi yonna ogiggalidde, ensi yonna ogyawukanyeeko, like you are you and your God and yourself. So, if sleep is a mental health investment, like I said, then the bedroom is the investment environment where that restoration happens. Because I've said sleep is a mental health investment. So, the bedroom is the environment that enhances that investment for your mental health. Because if you have a disorganized bedroom, it produces a disorganized mind. If you have a peaceful bedroom, it supports a peaceful mind. Are we there? Are we there?
Kosigutondeseemu awo katono ako kanzijiremu.
If you have a disorganized bedroom, bw'oba oyina ekisenge ekiri diso, ekiri cluttered here and there, obuleega buli waabyo, nika waabyo, ensawo, engoye eziddugala, ezitukula, ziregingi, engatto, ebitabo ebiriko n'enfuufu buli. If you have a disorganized bedroom, you have a disorganized mind. I'm not diagonizing us, but chances are high that your mind is also very, it is like how your bedroom is. So your bedroom shapes your mental state. Like we complain about people, no gundi anyiza, era gundi simwagala, era gundi kino, era gundi kino. No. It is first start with your bedroom. Your bedroom is the problem. Sometimes it's not the people. It's not the people. Ekisenge kyeyo gy'omalira obudde bwe buzibu. Kye kivaako obusungu, kye kivaako buli kimu. Because your bedroom shapes your mental state. I'm going to request each one of us enkya oluva ku kyaki abalina ebisenge nga we've not put them together. Oba onoonya cleaning company ekuyambeko eggyeyo ebikyafu byonna wansi w'ekitanda, please do that for me. Please. Such that omanyi osanga omuntu ku kkubo ng'alina obusungu nebuza ono mukoze eki. Owa boda bwennyini yakutomedde n'alyoka akuvuma ebigambo 8 like kati n'omukoze eki. Kati olumu you need to be discerning ogambe naye n'omuntu gy'asula kirabika kitokota bambi obusungu bwonna alina waabujja kumakya very early in the morning. Obusungu oba obugyewa very early in the morning, mazima ddala gwe yaakazuukuka.
Kumbe yaleese tayaze buliri.
Obusungu oba obugyewa. so nga tetunaba kwekwasa gavumenti, nga tetunaba kwekwasa mikwano gyaffe, ate maama wange mubi, ate bandoga, ate basenga, ate mukama wange, ate ono mukwano gwange, ate ono boyfriend, ate ono ex. Sooka weekwasa ekisenge ekyo. Your bedroom, it is shaping your mental state. Because your brain is highly sensitive to the environment. This is science. I can't bring out for us the pathophysiology of how the brain connects to the environment, to where you are. But your brain is highly sensitive, very sensitive to your environment. So your bedroom is an environment gy'obeezaamu omutwe gwe ebiseera ebisinga. So your bedroom influences your emotional calmness or agitation. Ekisenge ekyo kijja tugamba oba ssaala onaamalako olunaku ng'oli soba oba onaalumalako ng'otabusetabuse. Tulaba abantu olutuuka ku mulimu buli omu ng'amuyisaamu, buli omu ng'amuyombesa, buli omu kino, buli omu kiri, ono kino, oli kiri. Negative, they have not done anything wrong, really. Gwe wonna omanyi nti we wali ekisenge ekyo, oba emmotoka yo kyekisenge, some people sleep in their cars for some good time. Naye nga emmotoka kitokota, it's dirty. Kyonna ky'otwala okuba ekisenge ekyo. And I don't want to see someone in the comment section saying that, me, I don't have a bedroom, I'm in a single room. That single room is your bedroom. So your bedroom influences your sleep quality. Your bedroom influences your stress levels. Your bedroom influences your morning mood and your motivation. Your bedroom sets space for you. So we need to declutter because clutter is mental noise. Bw'oba oyina ebintu all over the place nga that is mental noise. Tewetaaga kidongo kuyitawo gwe okugamba mbu banne mpulira noise. Nedda, ebyo ebigoye by'olina mu kisenge kyo, ezo engatto z'osudde awo, ezo bbaga z'osudde awo, obuwowo bw'osudde awo, ebipiro by'osudde awo, that is your mental noise. And it speaks louder than even ebbaasi ya eranga concert eyitawo. So clutter is not just physical, it is very psychological. When your bedroom is disorganized, your mind struggles to relax. Your stress levels increase. Your focus becomes scattered. And a cluttered space, often it reflects like, if you have a cluttered space, it's very cluttered. It shows us a cluttered internal world. Surrounding yo ey'omubuliwo in the physical bw'ebeera ng'eri very disorganized, very cluttered, etulaga how your inner world is very cluttered, very also disorganized. That's why you see the scriptures. The Bible says in Proverbs 14 that the wise woman builds her house, but a foolish one pulls it down with her hands. So building your bedroom is you building your mental stability. You building your bedroom, you as a woman, as a man. Of course, when men marry, it is a responsibility of a woman to build their bedroom. So as a woman, it's your responsibility. So Jerry, for now, you need to build your bedroom. When you get married, your woman will build it for you. But building your bedroom, it's you building mental stability. Because like I said, your bedroom is a place of recovery, not production. Si kw'obeera awo n'otula ku zi project n'ozikola. And one of the biggest mistakes that we make is turning the bedroom into a workplace. Olaba abantu ku TikTok ng'ali mu kisenge, mu kisenge mwennyini ku buli kwatudde kwali mu kutundira emmaali ye. It's a workspace. So our bedrooms are we've made them workspaces. Like I said, we've made them stress zones. We've made them places of like overthinking, like screen consumption hubs. Otuuka mu kisenge nga screens ziri all over. All over the place. So, but we should understand that God designed us to rest, like I said. in separation from productivity. It's saying it's a sacred place where ulako, like for you to enhance your productivity well. So your bedroom should be able to signal to your brain that it is safe to slow down here. It is safe for you to slow down here. Ekisenge ekyo awo w'osula wabamu tewasobola kuwa indicator of it is okay for you Sise. It is okay Doreen. It's okay gift for you to slow down. Tewali akugoba. Tewali naakulaba wano. Slow down. Be you. Be yourself. Bweba tekikuwa, then there is a problem. Because when your mind cannot differentiate between a workspace and a rest space, then burnout becomes inevitable. If your mind, Barbara, help me note that for us, maybe in the chat, in the group. When your mind cannot differentiate between a workspace and a rest place, burnout is inevitable. Mulabe byonna bye twasoma ku burnout, it's inevitable. Ng'ekisenge ekyo ky'okozesanga computer desk, your bedroom is a computer desk. Your bedroom is your dining, mw'okuŋŋanyiza amasowaani agaddugala, ebikebe by'onywereddemu ice cream, ebipapula bya keefu si biri omwo. Burnout is very, very inevitable, very inevitable. Some of us, I'm rushing through this because time is not on our side. When I say the bedroom is a sacred kind of place and environment, it is meant for mental restoration. Buli kintu ky'oteeka mu kisenge kyo, it has to be communicating mentally. Buli kintu ky'oteeka mu kisenge kyo, it has to be communicating. The colors. Kati abamu ku ffe, maybe you can say that, okay, I don't have money, ennyumba ngipangisa nagisanga bwente, but sometimes people even ne bw'aba rentize ennyumba, they go ahead to change the color. Color z'ennyumba, color z'omu kisenge, n'ozikyusa because the color, the sound, the order in the bedroom, it affects your brain in one way or the other. So your brain usually responds to sensory input even while you sleep. Ne bw'oba bwebase, obwongo bwo busigala responding because you are asleep, but your brain, like obwongo bwo busigala, like they can respond to anything, to the environment. That's why osobola okugenda n'osula ewantu nga wakyafu nnyo n'olemererwa okwebaka, otulo ne tugaana. Netuganira ddala because your brain responds. So sometimes that's why you realize if you see their bedrooms, nga light your bedroom, it's a bit dim, nga katono. It's not bright like that because bright light delays. There is a chemical that helps in sleep. It's called melatonin. When you have bright light around you, it delays its production, and yet eyo chemical yetuyambako okwebaka. That's why they tell us bw'oba ogenda kwebaka, make sure you have some good time off the screen. Don't sleep with a screen on or webakire ku simu, webakire ku computer, because every time you are on that screen, it delays the production of that hormone or that chemical etuyambako okwebaka. That is about light. So you need to make sure nti mu kisenge ekyo toteekamu ettaala ezirina how many watts. Electrical engineers here, you help me. There are those lights that have those kilowatts ez'amaanyi that are very, very bright. So you don't need that bright light, that bright light. You need a calm, dim kind of light. In your bedroom, I'm not saying to mugende muzikole soundproof, no. But also noise. Noise increases mental alertness. Bw'obeera mu kisenge nga mulimu noise, gwe waddira woofer, subwoofer, those emizindaalo egyo waguteeka mu kisenge, webakira ku woofer. Ng'olumala otugamba ojja kuba mentally stable the following day ng'osuze ku woofer. I don't think so. So noise increases mental alertness. Like it brings you to have to be mentally disturbed a bit. Then I talked about the disorder. Okubanga ebintu tebiri mu order. That disorder brings about stress. Stress yonna gye tulina si ya ssente bannange. Stress. Coach Babla, tell people. Stress yonna gye tulina si ya ssente. Yes, money is not there. Some of us don't have money, but not that every stress is for money. Some stress is for ebintu by'omaze ebbanga nga toyoza, ezo kabadi eziri mu kiyungu z'omaze ebbanga nga tolongoosa. Watega emmese oba ebiyenje, whatever it is, byonna byafiira eyo tobijjangayo. Sometimes that is the stress. Meanwhile, ezo engoye ez'oludda okwoza, like stress, not money, not the government, not the bad roads. That's why I keep saying there are things that we can really control and there are things that we might not be able to control. What is in our control? Tugezeeko. Government tegenda kujja kulongooseza ekisenge bannange. That is too much to ask of a government. Nalabye ne lisiti y'abaminisita abapya, saalabye minisita w'ebisenge. So you need to do the work. Donna, Nesima, Chirabo, Grace, we need to do the work. And a well-prepared bedroom will support your deep sleep. It will bring about emotional regulation. It will bring about reduced anxiety. Even the small changes that you make in your bedroom, like good lighting, that lighting ey'omu kisenge, the cleanliness, the arrangement, emisipi ogitadde waazo, ebbaaga waazo, obulega bulina we buli, naye ng'odidde mix and match buli kimu, bw'otuuka okubyagala ng'osooka obiggyamu obiyiwa ng'oddamu obisuulamu mu kisero, bw'otyo n'obwongo bwo bw'oba obukola. So when we do order, when we bring about order in our bedrooms, etuyambako okulaba nti mentally we're in a good place. Because your bedroom, like I said, has to be a place for peaceful rest. I gave us a scripture in Psalms that says, in peace I'll lie down and sleep. So peace is not accidental. Peace has to be prepared for. You prepare for peace. Tekikugwako bugwi. We prepare for peace. So a health bedroom becomes a signal to the mind, that you are safe, you can rest, you can release control. So when your bedroom is very peaceful, your mind learns to rest. Nerestinga. Another thing we should know, as our time is running fast. Another thing that we should know. Let me go back a bit to the organizing. I want to give us an assignment. I don't have time to take us through even the colors ez'omu kisenge, but the colors, I talked about the lighting, but we have to mind so much about the colors. Mu kisenge si buli color nti ya mu kisenge. Ate ekisenge ky'abantu abakulu tekifaanagana n'eky'abaana. That's why you see mu bisenge by'abaana, those that batekamu the baby pink, the what. There are specific colors in the bedrooms ez'abaana. And even us and abakulu, ebisenge byaffe ate tetujja kusanga ng'oli mu baby pink mu kala z'abaana, because now we expect that your mind is now grown, your mind is very advanced. So there are other colors that we expect, colors that bring about healing, colors that communicate peace, colors that communicate calm, colors that communicate that it is safe here. So, I want to ask us that have been in hospitals. Wali ogenzeeko mu ddwaliro ne bakuwa ekitanda mu ssuuka za bbulaaka? Someone can tell me. Olaba ne government, those health centers deep down there ezitalina ssente. Bagezaako ne bafuna white oba cream, ne bafuna blue oba green. Lwaki bw'oba ogenda mu ddwaliro nga babawadde ekitanda bw'oba opaakinga essuuka toteekamu za bbulaaka toteekamu za red at least onoonyaayo era aka white onoonyaayo aka cream like why? Naye ng'ate ggwe mu nju yo mbuliri bwo bbulaaka omujjuza omwo kale ezitalina kuba za kwebaka ezitalina kuba za kwebaka ebisenge byonna obisiize black. Why? Odidde ekitanda essuuka zonna za yellow. Why? So we need to understand that, like I said, that bedroom ekolanga gear, ekolanga motivation yaffe. So we need to be very intentional. Ne bw'oba ogula amasuuka, be very intentional about the bed sheets that you buy for the bedroom. Si nti buli ssuuka buli kale olina ogiteeka ku buliri bwo. Bannange nedda, y'ensonga lwaki when we go to hotels we sleep in white. Bw'omala n'ova mu nju yo n'ogenda and you check in a hotel n'osanga nga essuuka eri ku buliri ya red, essuuka eri ku buliri ejjudde ebimuli. You know that mix and match, that bibanga ebibiina by'obwobufuzi, different colors. Olina ebimuli nga 8, mulimu blue, mulimu green, mulimu yellow, mulimu grey, mulimu. You confusing your brain. Kubanga it's the same, it's the bed sheet. You're not gonna kujebika. So like webise kala nga 8, your brain is trying so hard because the brain, like I said, the brain is working. Obwongo bwo buli kyebuliraanye, buli kyebulaba bugezaako to interpret it. So your brain is trying so hard to interpret every color that is in your bed sheet. Nenga ate waliyo a bed sheet eri plain. It was there. So the bed sheets, ekirala, we need to make sure that now the bed wetusula wansi w'ekitanda, it's not a store. To anyone that is listening to me, if you have things under the bed, oba obiwanikewa bambi bijeeyo wansi w'ekitanda, down wansi w'ekitanda. Banange, it's not a store. It's not. It has never been a store. Tuggyeyo amabaafu, tuggyeyo bucket ezo. It's not a store. Because now if you put things down your bed, you are suffocating the environment. You are suffocating the environment. To us that have been in the hospital back and forth, nga complaininga mitwe, ask yourself the so many times you went into the hospital, or the so many times you even self-medicated, n'ogenda mu pharmacy ne weegulirayo ka Panadol, ka Tramadol, whatever painkiller n'omira nsonga kimutwe, ne bakugamba nnyo amazzi, ogamba amazzi nga nnyo naye omutwe tegutereera. Go back and check your bedroom. Go back and check down your bed. Jjayo engatto ze tukozesezza tezisula mu kitanda kwe twebaka. Tova eri mu kibuga n'ojja engatto n'ogamba naazooza olulala n'osonseka wansi w'ekitanda. Jerry, it doesn't work like that. Like I said, it's not that every stress we are carrying, it is because of money, or government, or corruption, or whatever it is that is going wrong in the country and in our families. Some of the stress, it is us. It is our bedroom. Mu kisenge ekyo ojjuzaayo albums z'ebifaananyi, mulimu abantu abaakukyawa edda, frames nayo kyazitadde awo, bw'ozukka bw'omutunulako, you pinned them somewhere. Oh no, we need to declutter. We need to declutter our bedrooms. We need to close off certain chapters. Engoye enkadde, dispose of. Tokwata keesi n'ogamba eno keesi yankadde n'ogiterekaawo years after years. n'ebibeerako n'enfuufu years after years. Give those clothes out or burn them. Every year we need to be removing clothes, removing clothes, removing clothes. And you detach, you disconnect. Bw'oyawukana n'omuntu, you don't have any reason as to why ekifaananyi kye kikusula ku mutwe. Why? For remembrance, for what? Muzira nti Uganda Matter nga be tuti by Uganda Matters, and the Uganda Matters. These heroes that we are yet to celebrate, be batera okutimba. But they don't even pin them in bedrooms. Babateeka muba mawoofiisi oba mu makanisa mbijjukizo, but not in bedrooms. Kiki ekikwasa ekifaananyi ky'omuntu X mwayawukana dda so many years ago, but you pinned it somewhere. Abamu okutereka soltepo ekifaananyi okikwasiza mu wardrobe bw'oti. Buli w'obikkula okugyayo engoye ng'otunulako ogamba naye omuntu ono Sarah ono yankola bubi, naye bannange ono Timothy yankola bubi. For what reason? You are disturbing yourself mentally. So we need to understand that a bedroom is not just a room, it's a mental health tool. So when you invest in your bedroom, you are investing in your mental health. When you invest in your bedroom, you are investing in your mental health. You are investing in emotional stability. You are investing in reduced anxiety. You are investing in a good future. Because that brings about like improved clarity, long-term mental wellness, and of course a peaceful bedroom will always cause you a peaceful mind. And we all, what are we looking for? Even the money we are looking for, we want that money for peace. You're thinking, when I get that money, emirembe nja kuba nina. Before even the money comes, start by cleaning up your environment. Ogenze n'ekikopo ky'obugi mu kisenge, lwaki kimalayo ennaku 3? Why? Noyongerako n'ekirala. Let's declutter our bedrooms. Like I said, our topic today has been on sleep and bedroom as a mental health investment. You need to understand and tell yourself every single day that my bedroom is a place of peace. My bedroom, it's my environment, and it has to support my mental health. You need to tell yourself that your mind is calm because your sleep is deep and your emotions are very stable. And you need to declare to yourself every single day that you will create space for rest, you will create space for healing, and you will create space for restoration. Tewali agenda kikukolera, not the government. Tewali agenda kikukolera. You just need to do that for you. You need to do that for you. Ask yourself, which things do I need to declutter? What things do I need to remove from my bedroom? Otandike kimu ku kimu, kimu ku kimu, kimu ku kimu, kimu ku kimu. Ask yourself, have you cleaned, when is the last time you thoroughly cleaned your bedroom? To people that don't want to layer beds. Wakati mwate mbagambe ki? Kibabula gyavaako kyabagambira. Naye twala obuliri. Twala obuliri. Mu linnya lya Yesu. Twala obuliri. Twale obuliri. Majid is asking what should be where. I've talked about the colors for the sheets. N'ebyokusulamu bambi. Lwaki? Okay. When you are sleeping, like we said, this is like you're creating this environment to enhance a good sleep. Yeah? Toyina kusula ng'olwana n'otulo. Toyina kusula ng'olwana n'otulo. You need to make sure that you've organized yourself for sleep. You get light wears and of course the colors. That's why you realize that most of the sleep wears have a certain kind of material. They have certain kinds of colors. Naye osuze n'omusipi osibye. There is so much that I can say about this topic, but our time is running fast. But let's declutter. Let's create a digital free zone from our bedrooms. Osobola okuggyako essimu n'ogamba, when I enter my bedroom, I need to spend like 1 hour before I sleep nga siri ku ssimu. It is important because we need to enhance a good sleep. You need to enhance a good sleep. So make sure that you turn off all the all the maybe the social media, like anything that has light, you put it off and prepare your mind to sleep. Do a bit of meditation. Speak to yourself calmly as you sleep. Speak to yourself as you sleep. And also, let's try to avoid overthinking in bed. Some of us ebizibu byaffe tubitwala mu buliri. We overthink in bed. Notuuka okwebaka era ng'okooye, but it is not a good practice. So you need to practice to avoid overthinking in bed. You need to release your worries before going to bed. Kubanga katoyagala weebakire ddala owummule. Remember the cycles I talked about? You need to sleep a complete cycle, not to wake up in between the cycles. Because if you wake up in between the cycles, it brings about the depression, the mental fatigue, the headaches, and so many other things. I want to hand over to our coordinator. I'm done.
Coach, thank you so much for this section.